Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I am your coach, your host, your expert life strategist, Karena Calhoun, and I'm super duper excited to be on the show again today. We've got a very special guest, and I know I say that all the time. I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but I absolutely love the people that come on the show because I feel their heart. They have a servant's heart. And so, with that being said, Dr. Tonia Winchester, how are you?
Oh, I am doing so excellent, and I'm so excited to be here and chat with you today.
Awesome. I'm super excited to be chatting with you as well. I was actually thinking earlier, as you all know, or some of you may not know, some new listeners out there, I don't do pre show interviews. Just want to put that out there. I typically do not meet our guests prior to us chatting. These are what I like to call fireside chats. So the authenticity that you hear and feel through either the video or the audio is absolutely genuine. We have not spoken. We have not said a word other than maybe an email passed here or there with some details of a process or something. But other than that, authenticity all the way, baby. And I love it. So tell us where in the world you are.
I live on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, so this is a huge body of land just west of Vancouver. Most people know about Vancouver, British Columbia, and I live in a small town called Nanaimo.
Awesome. I love it. And are you from there?
I grew up in Vancouver and I moved to, we just call it the island, so I moved to the island 2009.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So what kind of weather do you all have there today?
Well, it is thankfully raining today, which I'm really grateful for because we've had a really dry, hot summer and
Mm.
the province is on fire and it's terrifying. So I'm so glad that we're getting some moisture back into the earth.
Wow, that is awesome. So, first of all, introduce yourself to us. Who are you?
I'm just a girl who's on a mission to make the world a better place. I
I love
am. So, my name is officially Dr. Tonia Winchester, as you said. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've been in practice since 2007. So, 17 years, I think we're going on here. And is that right? Is that math right? 16
it.
years? 16
Yep,
years.
almost 17. Yep.
Yeah. And about 2 years ago, I actually started training in a new way of helping people, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And so now I combine the ancient wisdom of naturopathic medicine and using the natural healing instincts within our bodies and these really cool contemporary neurological reprogramming techniques to allow people's unconscious minds, the part that's driving the show, keeping us well or keeping us unwell, to go back into healing mode ultimately so people can create better, more sustaining, more helpful self-care habits. Ultimately, so that they can deepen their relationships, find joy and energy in their lives, and I think make the world a better place.
You know, Tanya, and you've given me permission to call you Tanya to drop
Yeah.
the doctor. I just want to put that out there to the listeners. I'm not being disrespectful. We've chatted about that just before we came on the air. But one thing I find, I'm just putting on my business hat at the moment. And I just want to say this kind of off topic, but I'm going to get back on. Everything that you just said, I completely understood and followed. And I think that is so brilliant, so amazing that I'm sure, I mean, you're a doctor. Let's just put that out there. I'm not. But the way you articulated what you had to say, what you do, how you're loving on the world around you, you were able to say that in a way that a layperson understood it. And I absolutely love that. So I just wanted to stop and give you your flowers for that. And then the other thing that I want to say is, I fully believe that our bodies were designed to heal themselves. So I'm really intrigued about what you have to say and what you have to share. What I want to hear first, though, is what got you into this? Because this is, I don't think this is something that a kid wakes up with one day and says, this is what I want to do. It could be, I could be wrong, you know? But tell us how you got into this.
I love that because that's exactly what happened.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
When I was very young, I wanted to be a marine biologist. That was my dream job. I thought I could just go and play on the beach all day. And then when I realized there was going to be more sort of paperwork and, boring spreadsheets, I was like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a pediatrician. I had a lot of health challenges when I was young as a kid. And so I thought if I could be a pediatrician and help kids get better and allow them to just have more fun in their lives. I remember specifically being like, more fun. And so
Mhm.
for a long time, like throughout high school, I was on path to become a medical doctor and getting more and more disenchanted with the Western medical system through my own health challenges, like I mentioned, how I was treated by physicians, how no one was really giving me the answers that I was looking for. No one was able to help me heal in a way that was sustainable. Things kept just kind of coming back and returning. Okay, more drugs, more surgery, more this. And it was just exhausting. And I knew that there had to be a better way. And when I was in grade 12, one of my classes I was taking, there we had this guest come, and she was a nurse who did healing touch. And I was her demonstration in front of the class. And she's not even touching me. She's standing behind me and she's not even touching me. And she starts kind of hovering around my right shoulder and she's like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "It's really hot. I'm getting a lot of energy off this area of your body." And I was like, "Well, I wasn't injured, but from my dance class the night before, we were doing this very repetitive choreography that was this flailing arm thing. And so I was just sore and fatigued from that rehearsal, which she picked up on without knowing anything about me and asking me any questions. And I was like, there's something else out there." And so I had this kind of aha drop in moment where it was like, wow, there's another way of interacting with people and another way of helping people that doesn't rely on medications, doesn't rely on surgery, doesn't rely on even talk therapy, although I didn't know that at the time. And so from then on, that moment on, I was on track to become a naturopathic doctor. And I went through university just studying as much as I could on the weekends. I was taking, nutrition workshops and acupuncture workshops and what else? Massage workshops. And so once I was done my university degree, I went right into naturopathic college. 4 years later, I was a doc, and that was back in 2007. Now, this added layer of these new neurological rewiring techniques came out of a lot of dissatisfaction in my practice. I was very burnt out from hearing this story over and over again. Meet with a new patient. Okay, find out what they're wanting, what their goals are. Let's put a plan together. They agree to the plan. They go away. They come back for their month check in and they're like, it's hard. And I make light of this because what I've realized is it's not the act of, say, eating one's vegetables or the act of getting enough hydration or the act of getting to bed on time or even more emotional things like the act of maybe setting a boundary in a relationship. The acts themselves are not challenging. Those self-care behaviors are not what's hard. It's the decision to do that. And I became obsessed with this moment in human psychology where we decide to take care of ourselves
Mhm.
today and tomorrow and the day after that. And so I started seeking, what is this place in people? How can I bridge this gap of this being hard to this being easy and sustainable and life-changing? NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, became that bridge. And I got into NLP thinking it would help me become a better marketer. I was like, oh, I'm going to just like use all my language and people would be like, let me buy all your things. And ultimately, it was the most powerful healing tool that I've come across in my practice as a healer and a helper so far. And what it allows me to do is unpack that it's hard decision, which is something that for some reason people have decided unconsciously, of course, and it allows me to clear negative emotions out of the past that might be keeping people stuck in patterns. It allows me to neutralize old traumatic or painful events to the point where they're just like, oh, I walked to the store. And in this clearing that we do, my clients get to this place, and I've been through this process as a client 4 times now, so I am speaking personally as well. But they get to this place where it's just like, no, I'm worth this. I'm important enough for this. I'm valuable enough for this level of self-care.
Mm.
Amazing what can change. Chronic pain disappears. For me, my body shed 40 pounds that I was holding as like trauma stress weight sleep deepens, energy restores in the day. The physical changes that happen after we do this deep neurological work is absolutely profound and magical. And I'm still blown away by it every time it happens for myself and also my clients.
I am seldom on my shows speechless. And so just sitting here listening to what you're saying and everything that I mean, I'm literally like going through my own life
Mm,
and going through conversations with loved ones.
yeah.
And I think that's what this is really all about, this conversation. It's actually a one-sided conversation because I am absorbing, I am taking it all in. But I think that's really what this is all about, being able to shed light on number one, there is an option outside of Western medicine. I am absolutely, completely against um, us being just like taken over, overwhelmed with medication that is going to treat supposedly one thing, but then brings on symptoms and all other kinds of things of so many other things because they're side effects. The amazingness of this conversation is that my husband and I have this conversation almost on a regular basis because we see so many of the commercials on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's inundating when you're watching a show and there's between 5 and 6 commercials of some medication and its side effects in between the show, and the show is only 30 minutes. And so I hate to be on a high horse here or the soapbox, but I think this conversation is very much needed so that people can understand that there are options.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's some things that you have to do to go a little bit deeper to figure out, you know, you may want to be free of those extra pounds, but not taking those steps to be free may require you going a little bit deeper and figuring out why and changing some things. And because I am all for changing your mindset and not the surface level of it, this is absolutely amazing. I love this.
Yeah. And I think you've touched on some really key points. And also, sort of as a disclaimer, I'm not anti-medication. There's a time and a place for those things. And, technological advances in medicine have saved a lot of lives. And as you say, there are options. And something that I'm extracting out of what you just said that I'm going to feed back to you in a different way is it's not about the information. We are smart people, and people have access to information like never before. It's not hard to go online and figure out what to eat or when to go to bed or how much water to drink or, how to say no in a hard relationship or in a hard conversation. So it's not information that we need anymore. It's transformation that we need. We need to
Absolutely.
change our
Absolutely.
neurology.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to change how we're wired so that we see the world in a different way. We see the world as safe. We see the world as kind. We see the world as a loving place. Because when we have pain that we carry with us from our past, we don't see the world that way. We see the world as out to get us. We see the world as, trying to harm us when it's not. That the world is just reflecting our own internal state. And so if we change our state internally and look at the world through a different lens, which is what I help my clients do, is just change their filter system, change what they're sensing around them. And it's amazing. One of the things I most commonly hear from clients as they go through the process that I take them through is that, oh, this is the classic example. Oh, I spent time with my mother-in-law on the weekend and I was totally at peace. When previously they would have just been triggered, so annoyed, so aggravated. And that is true freedom when we get to decide a different response for ourselves in how we relate. And the other thing that you mentioned a minute ago, which I'm going to throw back here, is that you're exactly right. Health isn't something that we do just for the sake of it. Health is a vehicle, I believe, that drives us to the things in life that light us up. And that is all about our relationships. That is all about the deep, precious moments that we get to share with our loved ones.
I absolutely love this conversation just because there are just so many things going through my mind, and I'm grateful for you and what you're doing and how you're loving on the world around you, because I believe this is something that is absolutely needed, because we have to be able to make that deep decision to say, I'm going to walk in healing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna walk as a healed person,
Mm,
both
mm, mm.
mentally, physically, and emotionally. But I've got to be able to get to that point, and sometimes I need someone that's walking with me, that's
Yeah.
going to help me. And I really believe that you're that person.
Oh, thank you for that. I'm feeling like my eyes want to start crying. What you just said, you know that adage, hurt people hurt people. Have you heard of that before?
Mhm.
I flip that and it's healed people heal people.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Re-
know, I had an encounter with a family member, and I'm just, going to be a little transparent here. I had an encounter with a family member recently, and they kind of lashed out at me, but I knew it wasn't me that they were angry with. I knew that they're hurt, and so they were trying to hurt me simply because they were hurting. And all I kept feeling was empathy and compassion for this individual, because I've been there. I'm healed now, and so knowing that this person is not, just brought on just sheer empathy and compassion. Whereas years ago, when I was not healed, oh, it would have been a back and forth, honey. You believe me, it would have been just, you talking about a fight. It would have been bad.
yeah.
And this was just through a phone call, you know? And so, one of the things that I do know, Tanya, is that when you are healed, you're able to view other people in a healed way,
Yeah.
and you're able to see when they're not healed, and you absolutely desire for them to have that healing. And so you respond differently,
Yeah.
you react differently. It's oh my goodness, I absolutely love this.
That empathy and that compassion is what breaks the cycle, that
Mhm.
intergenerational cycle, that interpersonal cycle. When we are able to pause and really question, this is one of the deep underlying philosophies or tenets of neurolinguistic programming, is that there's no bad people, only unresourceful behaviors. And all of the behaviors that we find challenging or triggering or, you know, reactive are trying to meet some sort of need. They're trying to have some sort of purpose met. They have an intention. And if we go through life interacting with people in assuming that there's pain behind their behaviors, that their behaviors are trying to get something good for them, that compassion and that empathy will just sort of tumble out of us. I was listening to a podcast a few months back about grief, and this woman said that she walked into a store, like a grocery store, and the cashier had this button that said, "Be kind to me, I'm grieving." It's just
Oh
like,
my goodness.
whoa, like if we go through the world assuming that everyone has trauma and that everybody has grief, something that they're struggling with, the world is going to be an easier and brighter place to live in because of that compassion and that empathy piece that you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. So good. So, so very good. So, Tanya, when someone says, I need Tanya in my life, I need her walking with me,
Mm.
because there are changes that I have the information.
Yeah.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I can't get to the other side of it to actually do it. So when they need this and they know this, and this is what I would say to folks that are listening, you can absolutely be problem aware, but if you're not solution seeking, then you kind of just keep going, keep going, keep going. So do some self reflection. Introspection is absolutely amazing, and decide if you're really looking for the solution to the problem that you have. And if that's the case, Tanya, I want you to tell them how to get in touch with you. And then once you tell them how to get in touch with you, what does it look like? Is there a survey? Is there an intake form? Is there a consultation? What happens once they get in touch with you?
Yeah, my favorite pathway to have people get to know me and my work a little bit better is actually through my book. It's called Breakthrough the Insomnia Cycle, which is a lighthearted narrative and helpful book about these two things, how naturopathic medicine and the tools of neuro-linguistic programming can actually help people go back into healing mode. And that's at toniawinchester.com. And then ideally they read the book, yeah, this is something that I want to pursue deeper. And then exactly, there's an application process to a discovery call where we'll chat. And I love listening to people's stories. I think people are just such fascinating creatures. So we spend 30 to 40 minutes sort of figuring out where you've been, where you want to go, what your goals are, what your future looks like. And from there, if it feels like a fit, we do something called a breakthrough. And a breakthrough is an intense, although not hard, uh, chunk of time. We usually meet for about 4 hours a week, 2 hours twice a week for 3 to 4 weeks. And we do a deep dive and clear all of this stuff that we've been covering today from the unconscious mind, clearing negative emotions, clearing traumatic events, significant emotional events, limiting beliefs. All of these things we can use these simple language-based tools to get out of the physiology so that the physiology can go back into healing mode. And then you're primed and ready to work towards whatever goal it is you're wanting to work towards, whether it's a health goal, a relationship goal, or even a career or impact goal. Mhm.
Absolutely amazing, fascinating. I love the work that you're doing for the world. Amazing, amazing. Tanya, any last words of wisdom for the listeners?
Yes, I want everyone to know and really, really know that your body wants to heal. It's designed to heal. It can heal and it knows how. It's what it's exceptionally gifted in. And sometimes you just need to make decisions that are going to allow that to happen. So, putting certain circumstances in place that allow your body to, well, detoxify, and that can happen on many different levels. We didn't get into that today. Mentally, emotionally, and physically detoxify. And also, my other word is nutrify, nourishing ourselves on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally. So, all we have to do is change the circumstances, and your body will gladly respond with its healing powers.
Wow, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, folks, we've had another amazing episode of Go Be Great, and we've had Dr. Tonia Winchester, and this has been a very fascinating. Um, I don't know if you can call it a conversation because I have just been soaking it in. I have just been like sitting at her feet listening because this is absolutely amazing. So, I will see you all on the flip side. Have a great day.